The VAPER-ARC Reactor, brought to you by AEPro Systems, LLC, a wholly owned subsidiary of Jaguar Holdings, LLC. Sound strategies for a sustainable future. Powering sustainable global economic growth while minimizing greenhouse gases and pollution. AEPro Systems, LLC will produce the only acoustic energy harvester that can power ocean-going superfreighters, ocean-going cruise ships, naval surface vessels, naval submarines, and national grids. Imagine global freight shipping and naval operations with no fossil fuel, no nuclear fuel. What is the VAPER-ARC Reactor? VAPER-ARC stands for Vibrational and Acoustic, Piezoelectric, Resonator, Acoustic, Refrigeration, Core. The VAPER-ARC Reactor generates electricity, heating, cooling, and is self-sustaining. The VAPER-ARC Reactor has an onboard capacitor bank and microcontroller that power and drive an acoustic driver that sends a sound wave down the first tuned closed-column resonator that has a manual and automatic tuning plunger to adjust the frequency based on temperature and pressure. The first tuned Helmholtz resonator is attached to the tuned closed-column resonator and also operates with a manual and automatic tuning plunger to adjust the frequency for temperature and pressure. The first piezopolymer passive radiator electromagnetic induction circuit sympathetically harmonically oscillates with the frequency at the amplitude inside the tuned Helmholtz resonator, and subsequently acoustically drives the second tuned closed-column resonator, also operated with a manual and automatic tuning plunger to adjust the frequency for temperature and pressure. The VAPER-ARC Reactor achieves exponential power levels by utilizing mechanical amplification using multiple sequential cavity resonances made possible by passive radiators. The onboard capacitors and microcontroller power the first acoustic driver that generates a 32 decibel sound wave that travels down the first tuned closed-column resonator, generating a 64 decibel standing wave with two antinodes that drive the first tuned Helmholtz resonator that generates a 96 decibel standing wave. The first piezopolymer passive radiator sympathetically harmonically oscillates at the same frequency and amplitude as the first Helmholtz resonator, subsequently acoustically driving the second tuned closed-column resonator with a 128 decibel standing wave with two antinodes that subsequently drive the second tuned Helmholtz resonator with a standing wave of 160 decibels at the same frequency. The second piezopolymer passive radiator sympathetically harmonically oscillates with the same frequency and amplitude as the second tuned Helmholtz resonator, subsequently acoustically driving the third tuned closed-column resonator with a 192 decibel standing wave with two antinodes that subsequently drive the axial regenerating stack acoustic refrigeration core, or ARC, also at 192 decibels. The piezoceramic Helmholtz resonator, or VAPER, is a Helmholtz resonator that translates the 192 decibel input to an internal standing wave of well over 200 decibels, well above shockwave formation values. It is the vapor that generates the electricity. The piezopolymer passive radiator electromagnetic induction circuit is the single most important innovation that makes the VAPER-ARC Reactor a viable possibility. These are the three functions that the piezopolymer passive radiator electromagnetic induction circuit provide: acoustic drivers, system sensors, and onboard capacitor chargers. It solves the problem of mechanical amplification by separating the bodies of gas in each segment, while stimulating exponentially increased acoustic power. The poled piezopolymer surround mounts a non-poled piezopolymer tympanic membrane covered with thin film ferromagnetic solenoids to an external flange which connects to the throat, connecting the tuned Helmholtz resonator to the subsequent tuned closed-column resonator. The poled piezopolymer surround generates an electric current as it oscillates, sending an induced current through the coiled wire around the thin ferromagnetic solenoids, inducing an electromagnetic field that varies with the intensity of displacement of the poled piezo polymer surround. As the frequency and amplitude of the displacement increases, so do the intensity of the induced electrical and magnetic fields. This induced magnetic field oscillates at the frequency and amplitude inside the Helmholtz resonator through a stationary set of inductor coils inside the throat, generating an exponentially higher induced electric field, sufficient to act as system sensors providing operational data such as frequency, amplitude, and thus radiative power at that particular region of the VAPER-ARC reactor, simultaneously supplying enough power to charge the onboard capacitors that power the first acoustic driver, making the VAPER-ARC reactor self-sustaining. An optimally configured VAPER-ARC reactor generates between 260 and 520 megawatts of piezo-ceramic electricity, while co-generating 7+ kilowatts of cooling per acoustic refrigeration core, or ARC. Additional power can be derived from the steam driving traditional mechanical-electrical turbine generators. The VAPER-ARC reactor is housed in a liquid water-filled containment vessel atop a vibration-minimizing semi-conical containment feet that minimize the vibrational translation of energy to a wider environment. There is also a water drain plug, electrical control inputs, and electrical power outputs. There's a port for liquid water return that has been cooled. There is also a steam port for outward-going steam that can be used to power traditional steam, mechanical, electrical turbine generators. The cryogenic cooling cold heat exchangers protrude from the containment vessel, allowing them to be attached to working fluid cooling systems that can provide 7+ kilowatts of cryogenic cooling to external systems, as well as cool the steam generated by the VAPER-ARC reactor, chilling it for the cold water return, making the VAPER-ARC reactor a closed-loop cooling system. The VAPER-ARC reactor is self-sustaining, non-nuclear, fossil fuel-free, carbon-neutral, sustainable energy. The VAPER-ARC reactor is 9 cubic meters, closed-loop, non-polluting, safe and reliable, science fact using existing technologies in new and innovative ways. The VAPER-ARC reactor produces 260 to 520 megawatts of piezo-ceramic electricity. Additional electricity can be generated by the steam powering traditional mechanical-electrical steam turbine generators. Each acoustic refrigeration core generates 7+ kilowatts of refrigeration, with between 6 and 8 arcs per reactor. There is minimal external noise. The VAPER-ARC reactor is inexpensive at $2.5 million per reactor. The VAPER-ARC Reactor, brought to you by AEPro Systems, LLC, a wholly owned subsidiary of Jaguar Holdings, LLC. Sound strategies for a sustainable future. Powering sustainable global economic growth while minimizing greenhouse gases and pollution. The Principal Scientist and CEO, Timothy J. Sipp. Timothy at aprosystemsllc.com. Inquiries and investments, please call 310-754-0522. Thank you.